Welcome, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
Um, right. Looks like I'm looking at the breakout rooms. Looks like we have people assigned to their rooms. We are in this room for I think 15 minutes or so. Paloma Foster is our panelist. And the title of the of our conversation is How Student Parents Manage Gaps in Housing Support. So I will let her take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Paloma. I am quite literally on the bus, one stop away from my place because I'm currently doing an internship in Washington D.C. It's a 40 an hour a week internship, and my boss gave me a day off, so I had to go grocery shopping. But I am one stop away from a Starbucks where I can open up my laptop and join. But that's the life of a student parent. It never ends. Yeah, so my name is Paloma Foster. I am a student at UC Berkeley originally. I am a political science major, which is why I'm in DC. I have been in DC since August, the beginning of the semester, and I will go home sometime in December. Being that I'm a semester student, we got here earlier, and but we leave at the same time. So classes have started only this week. I have to do a 40-hour week internship plus two classes. Um, it's interesting. Um, like it never stops. I so 40 hours a week, interning at the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, the Political Action Committee side, so the money side. Um, we might have a government shutdown, we might not. We're kind of waiting on that, and yeah, so that's all that goes on with that. So at UC Berkeley, although I'm technically considered a super senior because there was just too many opportunities and too many things for me to do in a 2 year time after transferring. So I have to go back in the spring semester. The problem with that is that I am here for the fall. I've been in my apartment since spring of last year, which took a while to get. Student parent housing, as you know, is limited. And I finally was able to get a letter from my therapist saying that I need, this is how crazy things are, that I needed to get an apartment so that my children could come visit me. Um, I wish that was a joke, but that is literally how it happened. And being that I'm here in DC, I have to pay housing here. I was not given time to move out of my apartment or was told that I had to move out of my apartment, and I really didn't. I asked if I was able to sublease. I'm also a former foster child, so moving around is really difficult for me. I aged out at 18, and I don't want to do that to my children also. Although they only come and visit me right now, that's a different story. And so currently I pay rent at my UC Berkeley apartment, and I pay rent here. The problem with that is that it is all covered by financial aid. And so I currently pay $3,500 a month for both places, which is insane. Cost of attendance adjustment and scholarships, although I am on a full ride scholarship, don't allow us to do that. They don't pause our rent. They don't give us a grace period. They don't care if you do a study. This is considered a study abroad technically. They don't care if that's what we do. Um, they don't guarantee us an apartment when we get back. And so this is what I'm having to do now. Excuse me one second. Thank you. this is what I have to do now to keep my apartment. They also don't offer us any support in terms of moving or securing any sort of storage. And as a single mom with two kids and no family to support me, that's just not something that I was able to do. And therefore, now I am paying apartment on a or rent on an apartment that I don't even live in for the time being. I'm not allowed to sublease it. And the great part about um, my the policies at my particular school is that they will add this to my balance. The only reason I can stay is because I don't have to pay it up front. They just add it to my tuition balance. And at the end of the at the end of the semester, or when I get ready to graduate, if I have a balance due, which I will, they will not confer my degree, which is wild. Not until you pay back all of the back pay and rent. So and you can't, so I could apply to scholarships and things, but you can't retroactively pay for other semesters housing with scholarship money later, which is really infuriating. And it rolls over. So for example, my summer grant wasn't approved, which is another story, but I basically paid $2,000 out of pocket for every month that I was there. I was doing summer school. But summer school doesn't, like, scholarships don't transfer over to summer school. It's all basically out of your own pocket. And so when my financial aid hit this semester, my rent for the summer was all taken off the top, and I was left with an $86 refund. And so you can see how this complicates life. This makes things very difficult. Luckily, my internship is somewhat paid, but there are student parents. For example, my roommate, who's another student parent at Berkeley, she knew that she wasn't going to have enough money to pay for her rent here and her apartment. Over the summer, she terminated her lease. She kept paying for her parking pass, and she was living out of her car. And that was so that she could save money so that she would have something to survive off of when fall semester came. And she's here with me now. But we actually are roommates together. But those are just like two student parent stories that I guess people don't realize that there's so many different obstacles for us that we have to think about, right? I mean, students who do study abroad programs that are not student parents just get to go home during the summer, or they just don't have those type of responsibilities. And so it's difficult. Have I figured it out? No. I mean, and any scholarship that I get, or any financial aid that I get, just automatically gets paid towards my bill. So, I have a remote job. I'm on food stamps, which is why I had to go to the grocery store that's far away so I can stretch them as much as I can. But yeah, these are some, and it's not just this, right? I mean, I'm doing this program because as a political science major, I want to live and work in DC. I want to impact policy because of all of my life experiences, and this is where I feel like I can be most useful. So this experience was kind of like necessary for me to do. This will, as older non-traditional student, I don't have time to do a bunch of unpaid internships or a bunch of entry level jobs. Like, I have to make an impression to try to get a job offer by the time I finish school, which will be next spring. And I do think I'm capable of that. So this program was almost like non-negotiable for me. And so yeah, I mean, interning at the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, I have a lot of access to a lot of people, and this really sets up me and my children for the future, although I'm away from both of them currently. And my children are 10 years apart, by the way. The oldest is 16 and lived with his father his whole life. And my ex-husband actually took his own life last summer. And so I couldn't just uproot a 15-year-old child who has just had his parent pass away. And so he's with grandma and grandpa in California. My youngest is 6, and luckily I have help from his paternal grandparents because his father is in prison for 24 years. And so I am actually very lucky that I have that help. I know not everybody does, but I'm allowed to focus on my education because at the end of the day, I'm basically going to be my children's lifeline when their parents are not here and they're not here to help me. And so I have to really focus on what I can do now so that we can be secure in our future. And it gets really scary. Sometimes it feels like you're all alone. And then sometimes you just feel like you're not doing enough, even though you are literally doing things just every second of every day to better your life. Um, but I do believe that housing gaps are a serious problem that needs to be talked about, especially for student parents. Once you graduate and you don't have a job or you're going into grad school, you have to be they kick you out. And so you have to find temporary housing for 3 months, even if you're coming back to the same graduate school, which I've had happen a lot with some of my friends. I live in University Village, which is a community of parents. That is what my apartment is. And that is another reason why I didn't want to move out. We have food banks there, we help each other out. We're able to cat sit for one another. It's like we're all parents and it's a pretty tight knit community. And that is like key. I mean, like, really, I know there's another panelist who's like, it takes a village. And it truly, truly does. I love that community, and to me, that was worth the extra $2,100 in rent a month for the next 4 months. And yeah, I know that my story is just singular, but I know that I'm not the only one who's had to experience something of this sort. Um, and also, it gets complicated, right? It's we can ask for all the help in the world, but sometimes there's like so many different qualifying factors that will prevent you from like receiving certain help. Um, I reached out to the basic needs center at my school and they rejected my application. They don't tell you why. And so I just keep adding everything to my tuition bill. And for now, that's what I will have to do. And in the future, I guess I won't have my degree conferred if I can't figure out how to pay that off. Um, And with the student loan situation is really crazy right now because of this new administration. So I don't even think we're offered loans for housing anymore right currently. And next year when I go into grad school or law school, so basically a higher education degree, um, we will also not have access to the type of loans that other students have because this year is the cutoff from where it changes, especially being first gen, no income, former foster youth. Um, it really becomes difficult. And yeah, I don't know how we can make it better in the immediate, but I do know that we can make it better because we keep trying and we keep persevering and we need to hear these stories and we need people that care about student parents to kind of put their heads together and listen to all this stuff and take it to people that they know and see what we can do because it really is hard when there's such a disconnect between policymakers and the people that are actually going through the everyday living day to day like as a student parent. And so that's another big reason why I want to work in policy. Like I have come from spaces where like I would never end up in a place like DC and like people like me don't usually end up in these circles. And so for me it's really important to keep working at it even if it means that I'm away from my children and that I have huge amounts of debt at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk. I feel like I've talked for forever.
You are able to stop talking whenever you want, but you are also welcome to keep going. I think they're going to do a 10-minute warning, but I have questions. I'm sure other
Yes,
people might
please,
have
please,
questions. Does anybody have
please.
any questions for Paloma? I mean, honestly, first off, I just want to say kudos and congrats. I mean, I just had my first baby. He is 6 months old, and I cannot even fathom doing what you're doing while having a baby. So I was not a student parent. I was grateful that I didn't have to be. But what y'all do every single day is honestly, I can't even. Sometimes I feel like I can't even just take care of a child. So to also be going to school and doing an internship for 40 hours a week, it's bonkers to me. So, um, does anybody have any questions for Paloma to start us off?
Well, can I make a comment? Which is, first of all, hi Paloma. I'm Teresa. I'm actually also in the DC area. I live in Arlington, but work in DC, so we're not too far away from each other. And my colleague Kimberly Salazar is a Berkeley alum who also was in student housing and may have some other helpful insights if you want about how to deal with that whole situation. She's really great. Happy to put you in touch. But I just wanted to mostly say like congratulations on recognizing the power that you have in informing policy and for like leaning into that. I know that coming from like, a range of marginalized situations, it can sometimes be hard to like lean into that expertise that you have that you've developed through navigating those systems. And but that's so valuable and it's so needed in policy. And I'm sorry that it like continues to be such a daily struggle and definitely appreciate like your like I know we don't call it grit anymore because like grit's not something you get to choose when life is just hard, but your stick with itness. Also want to we can chat more about it. We do the Renee's on here and I do our Spark Collaborative, Student Parent Action Through Research Knowledge Collaborative, and we have a blog that's like by and for student parents, and it would be really great if you'd be interested in contributing to that. But just wanted to say congrats. I don't really have a question as much as a like comment.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be involved with anything and everything that's related to student parents or just connecting with others or writing about our experiences. I think that the more people that can read and see it and try to understand, like the better off we are, hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, I do think what you all do here and being a part of this organization, I mean I haven't done it for long, but every time there's an ask, I'm right there because I feel like it's so important. So thank you. And I would love to connect, please. I absolutely thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comments? We just got a 3-minute warning, so if not, I have a question, but I want to give people an opportunity.
Um, if I could just make another quick comment. Paloma, I don't want to get too in the weeds of this because I'm not an expert, but one of my colleagues has done some work on schools withholding degrees and transcript withholding for unpaid balances, and we might be able to offer some help there in navigating that and like what the school is actually maybe not allowed to do, it sounds like to me. But that's hard to say without getting into the details. But I can drop my email in the chat if you want to connect about that. I have a colleague who knows a lot more on that topic than I do. You're on mute, but you're nodding, so I'll take that. So I should leave my contact information.
I have now finally switched to my computer. Yes, I would love that. Please drop it in the chat. That would be amazing. And I do know that that was recently, especially like I think in California, something was also passed where they can't do that in terms of like the community colleges withholding transcripts because you have like an unpaid balance and that was kind of forgiven. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but I mean, yeah, I'll take any help or any contacts that I can take. Thank you.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that that's a thing, especially because it's just a way that schools are using to get money from people before they're able to, graduate for real, which is so frustrating, because like you said, like you have, if you complete all of your requirements, it's not necessary, like it's not your fault that you have to pay rent on 2 different apartments. It's the policy's fault, right? So like that's not something in your control. So, um, yeah, definitely love the connection here. Um, all right.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I was able to do that, although it was a bit chaotic, and I
I love
apologize.
it.
But that is literally the epitome of being a student parent with limited time and just trying to juggle it all. So
Yeah.
thank you all very much for giving me some grace and
Yeah.
thank you.
No, we so I work at the lab. I don't work on this project, but I work for the lab, and so we've been messaging in our Slack channel, and one of the things that I said was like, this is literally the epitome of a student parent, is that Paloma is on the bus right now, leading a session as she's getting like transitioning to a Starbucks because like that's just what life is, you know, and it's kudos, y'all are great, y'all are amazing. And I am just grateful to be part of it.
Wilma, are you going to make it, by the way, to the event tomorrow on the Hill? Are you going to that one, today's Student Coalition?
No, but you can tell me about it.
Yeah,
And
I'll
I
send
will, yes. I think
anybody in DC, there's like a
oh, I'm sorry.
Hill Day event for student parents that Tanya Ing is
Really?
coordinating. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't make it
I,
this year. I went last year though, it was great.
Yeah, definitely
um,
put the information
yes.
in the chat because I'm also near DC.
Oh, cool. Yes, please. Oh no, are they gonna make us go away?
I know we're about to leave, but one big takeaway for me is like it sounds like in the school that you're at, they have a lot of resources. You know, they have the basic needs center and they have the this and the that, and yet there's still this gap. And
Yes,
so, and I know I'm in Georgia, and it's easy to think, but I work nationally primarily with transfer students, and it's easy to think like, oh, California, they've got all these laws, they've got all this and that. Uh, Um, but it's such a great example of like you kind of have to look under the surface and
right.
that things aren't really working how they should be. So thank you
Eh,
for sharing.
Yeah. And another thing is like I'm considered a Regent Scholar, which is the highest scholarship that you can get at Berkeley, and that's considered a full ride, yet I still have these issues. So I can't imagine the people that don't have that
Yeah.
benefit, how they're struggling, you know?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.